Hello students, welcome back in our online discussion, and we will continue our discussion in the chapter 3 about the socio-cultural impact of tourism and hospitality in this course, macro perspective of tourism and hospitality. So in our previous discussion, we discussed about the cultural exchange and preservation. And now we will discuss about the social interaction and tolerance. And in the next video, we will discuss about the community development and empowerment. So again, in our previous discussion, we discussed about the cultural exchange and preservation. And we discussed about the positive and the negative effects on local cultures. So as a review, here's the positive effects of local cultures, effects on local cultures, on hospitality and tourism. First is the cultural exchange, and we also have this preservation and the economic boost and the revival of traditions. And we also have the negative effects, which is the cultural erosion, loss of authenticity, and the social impact. In the number 4, environmental impacts. So now let's proceed to the our discussion proper, and we'll discuss about the social interaction and tolerance. So in the dynamic realm of the hospitality and tourism, the social interaction and also the tolerance form the cornerstone of exceptional experiences. So this industry strives on welcoming diverse groups, fostering an environmental where cultural differences are not just acknowledged but celebrated. So this is one of the unique feature of hospitality and tourism industry because we welcome diverse groups and fostering an environment where cultural differences are not just acknowledged but also celebrated. So we celebrate with the different culture differences, not like with other sectors in which um, they don't have any acknowledgement on cultural differences. And also some have this bias or they have this, we call it racist. But for the hospitality and tourism industry, we embrace cultural differences. So the tolerance here is not merely a concept, but a practice ingrained in every interaction and ensuring the guests and the staff from varied backgrounds feel respected and valued. Just like, for example, if we, in every resort or hotel, majority of them provides this free breakfast buffet, and it is buffet. So they will serve or put in the buffet station with the different kinds of food, and it also welcomes the different cultures and religion because for example there are some religions will not eat pork and other things, so they have this laws on their religion and other cultures or tribes or backgrounds. So in our industry we welcome these different cultural differences and we respect all of these differences, and we're not just respecting them but also valued. So it's the language of understanding that bridges the cultural gaps and allowing for seamless communication and a deep appreciation of each other's uniqueness. Okay, so this is one thing that is good in the part of hospitality and tourism industry because we appreciate each uniqueness. So this tolerance extends beyond the surface, influencing conflict resolutions, workplace harmony, and promotion of cultural exchange. So we will promote this cultural exchange. And it is the key that unlocks the door to a world of shared experiences, where diversity is not just accepted, but embrace, and also enriching the journey for both visitors and hosts alike. So there's a cultural exchange. For example, we have these foreign guests that will visit our place, and we will provide products and services as a host. So we will have this cultural exchange, and we will embrace it and shared with it, and we accepted it and also celebrated. Okay, so this is one thing that is unique in the hospitality and tourism industry or sectors, because other industry, they have this, they will not embrace with these differences or uniqueness of every culture's backgrounds and languages. Okay, so again, this is the, it talks about the social interaction and tolerance. So that is one thing that is highlighted in the socio and cultural sectors or areas. So specifically, we will discuss about these two areas. First is the exposure to diversity and global perspectives, and also the challenges of cultural clashes. Okay, so in the hospitality and tourism industry, there is an exposure to diversity. What do I mean by diversity? Since we have these different cultures, background, religion, languages, so when we say diversity, it means that we accepted with this uniqueness or differences. Okay? So this is not only in national perspective, but in global perspective. So we will have this view globally, not just nationally or locally. And the number two is the challenges of cultural clashes. Since we will welcome the different backgrounds, language, and cultures, there's a big possibility that there is a clashes, there's a disagreement, though we will celebrate it or embrace it, but there are still some possible problems and challenges that will occur. So we will discuss also about that matter. So exposure to a diversity again and global perspectives in the hospitality and tourism industry is the catalyst for enriching experiences. So the guests and the staff alike are continually exposed to a myriad of cultures, not just cultures but also traditions, language, and perspectives. That is why when you graduate in this program, you will work in the hospitality or tourism industry. You will engage or have this interaction with different cultures, backgrounds, religions, and languages. So that is also a good experience, because that is why I always suggest you to work or to have this on the job training on the five-star hotels in which they will accept, or there is a um, bunch of tourist arrivals, especially foreign tourists, because you will have this interaction with different nationalities. So that is a good experience. So this exposure fosters a dynamic environment where individuals have this opportunity to learn. So when we have this interaction with different languages, I mean nationalities or cultures or backgrounds, we will learn something from them. So that is also the good or the advantage. If we will have this interaction with different cultures, we will learn from each other. And we will not just learn from each other, but also appreciate and embrace the richness of diversity. Okay? So there are many, for example, Filipino traits or our lifestyle or our day-to-day um, doing or action or anything that we do every day. There's a difference between there's a difference on the other cultures and backgrounds that sometimes we will be surprised because they have this kind of culture. For example, if in the America or American, if they will eat with the sounds or they are noisy while eating the food, it means that this is not respectful for the host, okay, or to those who are to those who invited you. But in China, culture of China, if you are noisy while eating, it means that you like the food. So they will happy if you are noisy while eating the food. So they have these different cultures and backgrounds. So if you have this interaction with different nationality, you will learn from them that there is something unique in every cultures. So that is the advantage if we will have this interaction with different nationalities. You will learn their different cultures and also their different languages that they are using. So this is also one of the advantage if we will work in this industry. So interacting with people from various backgrounds broadens horizons and instill cultural sensitivity. If we will have this interaction, we will understand why they do some things because we have this interaction and we learn something from each other. And it also enhances our communication skills, especially if, though we will use this English language, which is universal language, but sometimes because of this accent, we have this hard time to understand what they are talking about. So if we will have this interaction with different foreign visitors, later on we will understood what they are talking about, even though they were just using the English language, but sometimes their accent might give us this hard time to understand. Okay, so it needs an experience to able to fully understand on their the way they communicate. So it encourages a global mindset and enabling both the guests and the employees to develop a deeper understanding and respect for different ways of life. And ultimately, it will elevate the overall hospitality experience. So that is important in the number one, exposure to diversity and global perspective. Okay. Now let's proceed to the number two, the challenges of cultural clashes. So on the flip side, the challenges of cultural clashes can pose this significant hurdles in the smooth operation of hospitality and tourism industry. So as we read here, this number one is more on this positive side, and this number two is more on the negative side because this is it challenges. So the cultural clashes may arise due to the differing norms, values, and communication styles, or expectations. So there is also a possibility because of our different backgrounds, language, religions, cultures, there is a misinterpretations or misunderstanding rooted in cultural differences can also lead to conflicts between guests and staff or among guests themselves. For example, we all know that the Muslim for the women you have this kind of dress that it will cover, for example, it will cover their heads. Only the eyes can be seen. And there are also some mistake done by the server or the staff because they will look at the guest. They will stare to the eyes of the guest for a long period of time. So for them, it is something disrespectful, not just to the ladies or women, but also to the men, because sometimes they will also observe the surroundings. So we need to avoid that by staring to the eyes of these ladies or women. Okay, so there is something possible. There is something misunderstanding that will happen during the business operations. So these clashes may affect customer satisfaction. There's a big possibility that they will complain to you or they will complain to the manager or supervisor. And also there are also employee morale and overall service quality if not managed effectively. So it is important in the near future when you become a manager that you need to orient all your staff or your employees regarding the diversity, regarding the different cultures, backgrounds, or religions or languages. We need to make some adjustment. Okay, so that is important. However, with the effective training, that is why it is very important that we will undergo a training. Also, this cross cultural understanding and open communication channels. So these channels can often be mitigated and turning potential clashes into opportunities for learning and growth. So for example, if you've done some mistake, um, especially on this area, so you should not be discouraged because it is part of the learning process. Okay, so you need to think whatever that you are, for example, there is a mistake that you've done, think on it as an opportunity to grow. Think on it as an opportunity for learning and growth. Okay, this is not just only applicable during your future work, but also while you are studying in our campus or in our university. There are times that we will make mistake. For example, in your laboratory, mixing of different beverages or cooking foods, you have missed something and you have this low grade. So don't be discouraged because this is part of the learning process, and this is an opportunity for learning and growth. Okay, so addressing cultural clashes proactively helps in fostering an environment where differences are respected and embraced, and also creating a more inclusive and harmonious atmosphere within the industry. So I just already shared to you what will happen to you in the near future when you work in this industry. Okay, not like with the other industry. For example, in educational industry or in educational institution. So again, in my previous work, I work in the hospitality and tourism industry, in which I interact with different cultures, backgrounds, religions, languages, tribes. But when I transfer to educational industry, so there is only a less adjustment because, for example, in Baisukandihay, we are all Filipinos working in the institution, and we have this interaction also with the students, and I never encountered a students that is foreigner or coming from other cultures. So there's only a less adjustment on it. So there is a difference between working in the hospitality and tourism industry to the other industry. Okay, so let's proceed. This is just only a brief discussion about these two areas: exposure to diversity and global perspectives, and the number two, the challenges of cultural clashes. So now let's proceed to we will deepen our discussion on these two things. So we will start with the number one, exposure to diversity and global perspective. So exposure to diversity and global perspectives within the context of hospitality and tourism is a transformative force that will shape experiences and interactions. It means that this exposure will occur on various levels. So there are different levels on it, from encountering guests and colleagues of different nationalities and backgrounds to engaging with diverse customs, languages, cuisines, and traditions. So if we will work, for example, only here in the Philippines, there's a big tendency that we will interact with different cultures, backgrounds, religions, and etc. only in our guests. And majority of our colleagues or workmates are all Filipino. But if we will work abroad, or if especially if we will work in cruise ship, we will encounter not just different cultures, backgrounds, religions, languages, to the tourist or to the guest, but also to our colleagues. If we will work in the cruise ship, for example. So we will have this interaction not just for the tourists, but also with our colleagues or working also in the cruise ship. So we have these different backgrounds. And there's a big tendency also that we will have this conflict because again we have these different lifestyle cultures and etc, so we need to respect each other's cultures, religions, backgrounds, and etc. So it is an immersive journey that broadens horizons, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of the world's culture. Tapes 3. So again, if you were work in this industry, we will have these encounters of different cultures, backgrounds, and religions. So we need to understand each other. That is very important application that we need to obtain. We will what? Understand the different culture. We will appreciate the different culture. We will appreciate the different religion. We will appreciate these different languages. We will appreciate with these different backgrounds. Okay, to avoid conflict. So for the guest, exposure to diversity offers a unique opportunity for cultural immersion, and it allows them to explore new perspectives, indulge in diverse culinary experiences, and partake in traditions that might be unfamiliar. So this is for the guest. So for example, if yes, I am a Filipino and I will visit a foreign country, and if I will visit in the restaurants, so I will have this menu, and the menu is more on the cuisine on their place or country. For example, if I will visit in Thailand, so I will expose also with different cuisine. Okay, so there's a adaptation on that different. That is part also of the different cultures. Okay, so this exposure can be a source of enrichment, fostering personal growth and leaving lasting impressions that transcend borders. So in the industry side, so that is for the guest side. So now let's proceed to the industry side. So, in exposure to diverse perspectives influences service delivery and operational practices. So, the hospitality professionals, you in the future, you will become if hospitality professionals. You will be constantly adapt to accommodate varying culture norms and preferences and expectation. Okay. Again, when you graduate, you will become a hospitality professional. You will become hospitality professional. And you will, what you are going to do is you need to adapt. What to adapt to accommodate varying cultures with different norms and the preferences and also the expectations. So this adaptability, it's not just about catering to different needs. It's about creating an inclusive environment where everyone feels valued and respected. Again, as a hospitality professional, we need to provide this excellent service to our guests. So, what are the different ways to provide exemptional services? What we need to do is to value their different cultures, and we need to respect them. If you will not respect the guests, they will not be satisfied, and it will affect the hotel or resort that you are working in. So also this exposure to diversity, it encourage innovation and creativity within the industry. For example, if I'm the owner of these restaurants and majority of the guests are Indians, for example, in the month of May. Majority, that is constant. Every May, okay, every May there are numbers of Indian that will visit in our place and they will find also Indian foods. So what I'm going to do during May, during the month of May, I will provide with this unique or different way of cooking, attaching with the Indian culture. So by doing that, it encouraged innovation and creativity within the industry. There's a big possibility that it will increase my income during that month, okay? Because I accepted the majority of their requests. And it also encouraged other Indians also to visit my restaurants because of this word of mouth. They will talk about the positive things or positive experience in my restaurants. And there's a big possibility that the other Indians also will visit my restaurants. Okay, so we should not miss the opportunity. So it prompts the development of new services, experiences, and strategies that cater to the evolving tastes and preference of the global clientele. So this innovation drives competitiveness and elevates the overall quality of offerings and setting new benchmarks for exceptional hospitality experiences. So this exposure also the necessitates sensitivity and cultural competence. So understanding and respecting cultural nuances become essential to avoid misunderstanding or unintentional offenses. There is a big possibility that we will offend our guests. There's a big possibility that we will offend our colleagues because we misunderstand their culture and their backgrounds. So again, it is important that we will undergo such trainings. That is why before you will work in the hospitality and tourism industry, you are enrolling in hospitality, Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management for 4 years as part of the training programs. So that, especially during your fourth year, you will undergo on the job training. So you are trained. So that when you are working on the different resorts or hotels, you are well prepared and you are well ready to engage with these different cultures or foreigners nationalities. So again, training programs is very important that focus on cross-cultural communication and awareness plays a pivotal role in enhancing this sensitivity among staff. So I would suggest to you in your Facebook account that you will follow different pages that talks about these different cultures and backgrounds as part of the preparation, because if you want to work in the hospitality industry you need to prepare yourself. Again, this 4 years studying in our university for me is not enough, since you have this free time because of our limited face-to-face classes. I suggest that you will watch some video concerning different cultures and backgrounds so that you will have this full knowledge or ideas that will help you during your work in the future. It is important that you will obtain knowledge and understanding with different cultures because it will help you when you are working in this industry. So, in essence, exposure to diversity and global perspective in hospitality and tourism will serve as a catalyst for growth and fostering cultural appreciation and also the innovation and inclusivity. So it transforms mere transactions into meaningful exchanges and also enriching both guests and industry professionals with a deeper understanding of our diverse world. Again, our world is diverse. There are different cultures, background, religions, nationalities, and if we are working in the hospitality industry, it is expected that we will encounter these different cultures, different nationalities. So we need to prepare on this, prepare your knowledge understanding on this part, and also try to train yourself to understand their languages. That is why we also have this foreign language subject. Though some of the foreigners will use the English language as a universal language, but sometimes we miss to understand the their point because we fail to understand also their accent, though they are using the English language. So that is also part of the training that you need to understand. I think I shared it to you in during in our um, face-to-face class about the story of a hospitality professional that have this miscommunication with the foreigners because they fail to understand the words because of its accent. So it's important that you need to prepare before you are working in this industry. So number two, challenges of cultural clashes. This is more on the negative side. and we need to prepare on this part. So the challenges of cultural clashes within the hospitality and tourism industry present multifaceted obstacles that can impact guest experiences, employee dynamics, and overall service quality. So sometimes it will clash our cultures, and that is a challenge, not just between the employee or the staff to the guest, but also from staff with the other staff. That is a challenge. So these clashes stemmed from the collision of different culture norms, values, communication styles, and expectations. So one of the primary challenges is the misinterpretation or misunderstanding due to cultural differences, which I discussed to you a while ago. So what might be acceptable or polite in one culture could be perceived differently in another. So that is why it is very important that we need to study the different cultures. So if, for example, you will counter this particular nationality, you have this at the back of your mind, what are the do's and what are the don'ts. Okay, what are the red flags and what are the green flags. So you need to have this full understanding of these different cultures. Okay, so you need to prepare yourself because sooner or later you will encounter different nationalities and you have this knowledge. Okay, example, you face this or you have interaction with this Indian. You have in your mind that majority of the Indians don't like or didn't eat meat. Majority of them are vegetarians, okay, because of their religions, okay. And also, if you encounter some tourists coming from Middle East, for example, and majority of them are Muslims, so they will eat meat except the pork. Okay, so you have this kind of culture, understanding on this part. Okay, so if you will encounter different nationalities, different cultures, you have efficient knowledge what are the do's and what are the don'ts. So you should not offer food that has a pork, for example, for the Muslims and also with the other religions. Okay, so you need to have this understanding because you need to avoid cultural clashes or conflicts. That is why preparation is very important and obtaining knowledge about these different cultures and backgrounds. So, moreover, differing attitudes towards time, hierarchy, personal space, and social interactions can create friction, especially in the time management. For example, in for American, if you will say we will meet at 8 a.m. So at 8 a.m. they are already there in the location or in the meeting place. But for the Filipino, when we say 8 in the morning, we will come at 9 in the morning. So that is one of the culture of Filipino. At least we are not the same with the Indian because they will not come kay Indian. So for instance, some cultures might prioritize functionalities and formality, while others emphasize flexibility and informality. So there are differences between different nationalities and cultures. So these conflicting norms can lead to misunderstanding and tensions in service delivery or workplace interaction. So the cultural clashes can also manifest in differing expectations regarding hospitality services. So guests from diverse cultural backgrounds might have varying preferences for amenities and food choices, as I discussed to you a while ago. They have these different preferences on what food choices because of their um, prohibition of their foods, for example, from their religions or cultures, and also the amenities and for services standards. Okay, again for the food because some of the religions or culture prohibit some ingredients on the food. So you need to have this knowledge. And meeting these varied expectations while maintaining consistency in a service quality becomes a balancing act for hospitality providers. You have these skills to balance in order to avoid clashes. So again, in the workplace, cultural clashes among staff members can affect teamwork. Okay, not just for the tourist or guest towards the staff, but also from staff to other staff, because it will affects the teamwork, not just the teamwork but also the communication and morale. So we have these different work styles, and we need to have these conflict resolutions and leadership expectations that might clash also, and impacting productivity and employee satisfaction. However, these challenges can be mitigated through proactive measures. So there is a solution on this problem, clashes of cultures. What is the solution on this problem? Education and training programs that will focus on cultural competence and sensitivity is very important. Okay, so the solution again is education and training. That is why you enroll in this program, so that you will be educate and well trained before you will exposed in the real world. So these initiatives will help employees understand and respect diverse perspectives, teaching effectiveness on the cross-cultural communication and conflict resolution strategies. So when you will work in this industry or any resort or hotels, you expect that you will undergo some free trainings and seminars. And some of the topics is we'll discuss on this matter. So creating a diverse and inclusive workplace culture where all voices are heard and respected is equally important. So it encourages open dialogue, valuing diverse opinions, and fostering an environment of mutual respect can alleviate tensions and foster collaborations among staff from various cultural backgrounds. So in the guest facing aspect, so that is part of the workmates to workmates. So in the guest facing aspects, implementing flexible approaches to accommodate diverse needs and preferences while maintaining service standards can bridge cultural gaps. Okay, so that is the solution. So emphasizing empathy, active listening, and willingness to learn from different cultures can significantly reduce misunderstanding and enhance the overall guest expectation. So for example, when the guest would like to ask something different from the services or food or products that you provide, you should not argue with the guests. What you need to do is to have this active listening. You need to listen more. Okay? So that you will understand their point of view and you will provide their needs. You will resolve the problems arises. Okay? So addressing the challenges and cultural clashes requires a commitment to continuous learning, adaptability, and a genuine appreciation for cultural diversity. Okay? Again, life is an ending process of learning. While you are still living, you will learn something. So I will suggest to you, while you are still young, you need to obtain knowledge. You need to obtain more on information. That is your tools. That is your weapon. That is very useful in your future career. If you don't have any tools, it is hard for you to create something. For example, if you will create a house, it is hard for you to create a house or build a house without any tools, without any hammer and others. So the knowledge information are an example of a tools. If you have a lot of tools, it is easy for you to become a successful one. So I hope that you have learned something on this online discussion with regards to the social interaction and tolerance. Specifically, we discuss about exposure to diversity and global perspectives and also the challenges of cultural clashes. So for the summary on this discussion, social interaction and tolerance play a fundamental roles in the hospitality and tourism industry. So they form the bedrock for creating inclusive, respectful, and enriching environments. So within these sectors, social interaction involves engaging with diverse guests and colleagues, fostering communication and promoting cultural exchange. So the tolerance, on the other hand, entails embracing and respecting differences in cultures, beliefs, and perspectives. So it facilitates its seamless communication, conflict resolution, and the celebration of diversity by promoting the social interaction and tolerance. So the industry cultivates welcoming atmospheres, enhances guest experiences, encourages cross-cultural learning, and fosters inclusive workplace cultures. And ultimately, these principles contribute significantly to creating positive, respectful, and memorable experiences for all involved in the hospitality and tourism realm.